Welcome back to my Skyblock world, where today I am going to be tackling the massive task of making the main island look pretty. And it's probably going to look something pretty similar to this floating island that we've already made, but just applying it to this much bigger area. And without wasting any time, I need to get mining some stone. In order to get today's project done, I'm going to need to get like 8 shulker boxes full of stone, as well as a bunch of other materials. Fortunately, we've already set up a few of the farms that we need to get this project done. But yeah, the first thing that we're going to have to tackle is actually getting the resources to be able to build this whole thing. So lucky for me, it only took like an hour, but I've now got just over 8 shulker boxes full of stone, which is enough to get started on the stone part of this project. But as with what I did with this island down here, I also want to put some amethyst in. So yeah, we've got it sprinkled up in some veins coming from the bottom of the island, and I'm going to do the same thing. And unfortunately, the same as last time, our little amethyst farm is not going to have anywhere near enough for us. Might help if I use fortune instead of silk touch. I wouldn't say that was horrible, non-zero amount for sure. I think really the biggest issue with this farm is that I'm never really close enough for it to be producing all the time. So I'll just grab an ender pearl, set up a stasis chamber, and keep this thing loaded in so that it can keep producing amethyst while we're away. Turning on the chunk borders, it looks like this whole thing's pretty much just in 2 chunks. Makes my life a lot easier. And simply making a little pillar of water to then throw an ender pearl down into, which now keeps these 2 chunks loaded at all times. Well, anyway, with that little task out of the way, we now have some passive amethyst that'll be growing, but I already know that that's not going to be anywhere near enough. Fortunately, we do have some amethyst left over from our last project, but we're still not even half a shulker box full, and yeah, I need close to 2. So that means I'm off on another adventure to find some more floating geodes. Geode above an ancient city, how fortuitous. So I might tear down this entire thing and then go have a look around here to see if I can get the silence armor trim. Okay, amethyst collected. Let's go see if we can get some easy loot down here. I think the crazy part about this compared to a normal ancient city is that I can literally just fly off if a warden spawns. So I'm not really in any danger around here, to be honest. See, warden spawned and he has no idea where I am. Alright, well now with that sidetrack out of the way, and I must say the loot was pretty mid, I can get back to finding some amethyst geodes. Mining all of this amethyst got me thinking. How accurate is the geology of a Minecraft geode? The amethyst geodes that generate in Minecraft are made up of a smooth basalt outer layer with calcite inside the basalt, and then a layer of amethyst to the inside of that. Turns out this lines up fairly well with amethyst geodes in real life. In real life, geodes are formed from water or air pockets within molten lava. Being within lava means that the outer shell of the geodes become a basaltic stone over time, with the inner shell left to crystallize over millions of years. The amethyst crystal is actually just quartz that has turned purple through the presence of iron around the geode. One part of the equation where Minecraft differs from real life is that it is very rare to find calcite and quartz forming in the same geode. Anyway, that's enough about geodes for now. Now I've got the full lineup of shulker boxes with everything that I need to start on this project. I think it's time for a building time lapse. So of course I started work, but completely forgot to hit record on the time lapse, which then meant that I lost about an hour's worth of building from this time lapse, but it still turned out pretty well. So you can see just going around, placing all the stone in, some amethyst veins to try and make the island look a bit more whimsical, and also tying back into the lore of making these islands float by having amethyst underneath them. Mobs kept spawning while I was going around and building this thing, so I ended up having to place torches as I was going, but that wasn't too much of an issue. And to say I'm happy with the final result is an understatement. I am actually so annoyed with myself that I managed to lose the first hour of work just because I forgot to hit a button. How do you forget to hit the record button when you're doing something like that? I don't know. I don't get it. But regardless of how mad I am, I now have another floating island. And I reckon the shape of this one is pretty sweet, not gonna lie. Looking at it from back here, I can confidently say that I definitely want to put some glowberries on this one as well. Fortunately for me, the Happy Ghast now exists, so I'm going to go get one of those from my piglin bartering farm and make this job a lot easier. So grabbing some gold from the zombie piglin farm and then putting some of it into some of these droppers for the piglins to trade with. We now have some dried ghasts in our storage system. While I wait for this little boy to hydrate and become happy again, I want to make a little Ghast Garage somewhere around here to park it in so it's not just roaming around the islands. Now that the rain's cleared up, I may as well start building. Alright, so we've got our ghastling and I've got one garage set up. Still need to do a second one, but essentially the idea is use this lever to open up half of it. We'll have some pressure plates here with some trapdoors. So when the ghast is resting on the pressure plates, the trapdoors are up, the ghast can't get out. We go up a staircase up to the top, and then get onto the ghast from up there, open this, bring the ghast out, and close it behind us. Or that's the idea at least. We'll see if it actually works. So I've now got this thing built, got fully grown Happy Ghast, and got the harness here too. Gonna give this thing a test run and hopefully it works the way I want it to. Well, that was actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I did get this design from another YouTuber. I think it's pronounced Free Musa Builds. I'll leave their tutorial link down in the comments because this is actually pretty good. But anyway, that was just an interim thing while I was waiting for the Happy Ghast to grow up. Now to get on to the real task of putting some glowberries underneath this island here. So I'm sort of thinking I'll place them, a bunch of them sort of together like this, and then make them a little bit more sparse coming out from that. Sort of something like this, except all the way around. Not gonna lie, I kind of felt a bit like B-dubs going around hand placing all of this greenery. Took a little while to get done, and a few pit stops along the way of getting extra glowberries with some bone meal. After about an hour, it's finally done. And just like that, the new island is looking a lot nicer. Still need some berries to grow on a few of the vines to try and light it up a little bit more, but yeah, looking much better. Looking at it from the top, you can see that there is a top layer missing though, and of course we're going to be using grass for that. But I learned from my mistakes last time, I'm not using moss and spruce trees to do this. I'm going to do the little trick of converting dirt into coarse dirt by using gravel, which basically just duplicates dirt for you. Got a decent amount of dirt and gravel to start us off, although I'm going to need to go and get some more gravel from the nether, I think. So first things first, I will check the chests to see how much gravel we already have. Looking pretty decent so far, but I need 1.5 shulkers of dirt. So I will need to AFK at the gold farm for a little bit. And then with the spoils of our AFK session, use the piglin bartering farm again. Looks like I overestimated how much gravel I was going to get, as we basically just got the same amount of gravel back as the gold that we put in. Gonna have to go AFK a bit more. And after a couple of hours of AFKing, hopefully we have enough gravel now. I'm pretty sure that's actually going to be enough, so we'll go with that. Fingers crossed I don't have to come back in here and deal with that again. And now I shall complete the task of converting all of this gravel into coarse dirt and then back into dirt. At first I thought that building up a pillar and then tearing it back down was going to be the quickest way. Then I realized that, yeah, I can literally just stand against a wall and place and mine this stuff. That was what some might call a task and a half. But it also means I can now get started on placing dirt around this island. Look at me go, actually remembering to press record this time. Yeah, pretty much. I went around the border to start with, went back in, filled it all in, put some grass so the grass can grow, and that's about it. Everything's all looking pretty good from up here, except for this one big hole in the middle where I need to put a massive cherry tree. I'm putting in this cherry tree so that these couple of cherry trees down here make more sense. I don't know, it was just a lore idea that I had a while ago. I think it'll look pretty cool, gives a bit more life to the whole base, and makes sense as to why there's slimes in the inside of the island, Anyway, that's enough talking. Let's get into a material gathering montage. Geez, that was fun, wasn't it, guys? We have fun, don't we, guys? Yeah, we have so much fun, don't we, guys? Yeah, guys, we have so much fun. Anyway, side of Manic aside, let's put down these shulker boxes and get building this big tree in the middle of the island. The start of this build was actually pretty fun, building up the base of the tree, putting something in the middle there, and then, getting up to the top with all of the wood, and then sprawling out some branches. But then it took a turn for the worst when I had to start placing in all of the leaves, because it was very, very painful to place all of those. And then I took the time to chill out and just place a lonely branch coming off the side of the tree. Oh my lord, it is done. Kinda hard to believe I actually did this all in one episode, not gonna lie. Taking a look at our massive cherry tree, we've got our beacons going up through the middle of it. And then up around the leaf area, I decided rather than just going for plain old cherry leaves, I would chuck in some frog lights so that it looks nice at night time. And then I also scattered in some pink stained glass to help with some texture as well. But ooh-wee, it is looking pretty nice around here. And so now we can enjoy some nice cinematic shots of the island as it is at the end of this episode. And boom, shaders too. Well, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode.